My girlfriend cheated on me with my brother and started drama with me after. My now ex and I were dating for a total of 6 months, and we had gotten pretty far in the relationship. She had gotten to meet my family not long before the incident happened, and my family were skeptical if they could trust her since they had only met with her once or twice. I was playing cards with my family on New Year's Eve since it was usual that any time that family reunites, we play cards for hours. At about 10 p.m., I was starting to wonder where my girlfriend had gone because she was nowhere to be seen for a couple hours. I texted her and I got no response. About an hour later, I finally decided to start looking around the house for her because I know if she would have left the house, she would let me know first. The first place I checked was my bedroom, which I share with my older brother. What I had seen in my own bed is still imprinted in my head. Both my older brother and my girlfriend were making out in my bed when I had walked in, and my girlfriend was surprised that she had been caught. I told my brother to get the hell out of our room and told my girlfriend to stay. I yelled at her, which I know now is extremely immature, and I'm only 16, but still, I could have done something else. It just seemed right in my mind at the time. So I yelled at girlfriend. I asked her if it all really meant nothing, and how long she had been cheating on me for. It turned out that was the beginning of it and said that my brother had thrown himself on top of her. I didn't believe a word she said and told her to get out. She asked if I could give her a ride home since most of her friends either can't drive or are asleep and her family was out of state. I did as my last act of kindness towards her and tried to promise myself to never speak to her again. Skip to about a month and a half ago. Now ex-girlfriend had spread rumors that I was going to shoot up our school. I had a bomb in my backpack. I took inappropriate pictures of her and a whole bunch of other stuff to try to ruin my reputation, which got me in huge trouble with the school principal, of which I had actually just gotten on his good side after events of before. So after I had found out about all of this, bull ex-girlfriend had told just about everyone at this point, I decided to confront her about it, and boy did it get messy. She continuously made excuses of how I broke up with her for a stupid reason, and how I should have just gotten over it. I was over it, but what she had done brought me back. After I had confronted her and she said what she said, I decided to get revenge on her, which would mean breaking a promise I made long before the incident. What I did was send to all of her friends the most embarrassing picture I could find, which many of them laughed at it, pissing ex-girlfriend off and making her look bad in front of everyone. So in the past 1.5 months, she had gotten together with my brother, and he constantly brags about it to this day. I have started talking to someone else since what happened, and I have actually great bond with her. I am divorcing my wife after finding out that my son is not mine. Well, 2 weeks have passed since my first publication and 3 weeks since everything happened. Not many relevant things have really happened, but here is a short summary. Approximately 3 days after my publication, my ex came to my house and asked to come in. I went out and met her at the door. I told her that she is not going to set foot in my house while I am here. If she is going to say anything, let it be at the door. Well, she practically begged me to take her son back, that if I want to cut off all contact with her, that's fine, that she deserves it, but that she can't raise a child alone, that she has job, that raising him alone is going to destroy her dream of being a notary. She works in public records and is 2 more years away from running for the judiciary to get a vacancy to have her own notary. I tried to explain to her in the calmest way I could that my therapist is the one who recommended me to cut off all contact with the 2 of them, and to please leave my door before I lose my mind. I love the child, but I don't want to take out my anger on an innocent, even less considering that this innocent is the product of her inability to keep her legs closed, that the child deserves better and that she is currently responsible giving it to him. I don't know how, but that's not my problem anymore. After that, we talked a little more. She resisted the urge to try to cry and make a scene because, once again, we were on the street, and she is someone who she took into account what people said about her. The last thing she asked me was to at least let her see the dogs. I told her no, that the best thing is for them to get used to her absence. See her again after so much time will only make them euphoric. After that, she just nodded and left. 2 days after that, she called me when she received the divorce papers. My mistake was answering the phone because immediately after about 30 minutes she was yelling, to which I later managed to say that the papers must have the number of my civil lawyer, so she can call her if she has any questions. After that, I silenced her number. She has not come to my house since then, nor tried to call again. That same day, I contacted a friend that I made during my master's degree, and I told her to go out. She accepted, and well, We've been going out since then. Finally, last Friday, I told her to be an exclusive couple and she accepted. She has stayed asleep at my house for a few days. She already knows my dogs and adores them, which I appreciate because I couldn't start something with someone who doesn't accept my pets. We are currently taking things easy. She knows the drama I am having with my ex and the child, and she respects my decision. She asked me if I will ever have contact with the child again. I told her maybe when he is of age to understand my decisions, but that I don't expect it to interfere with my life in the future. To which she just nodded and was glad that I take myself as a priority during this process. Maybe this took a little longer than I expected, but this is the summary of what happened these days, and, well, many people have been asking me for an update, so here it is. Am I the asshole for kicking my boyfriend out because he didn't take me to my oral surgery? I recently had oral surgery to get my wisdom teeth removed, and I needed a designated driver. I asked my boyfriend if he could take me, and he said he'd find out if he could. Over the past few days, he seemed excited about the idea, even joking about wanting to see how I'd act under anesthesia. Fast forward to this morning, the day of my surgery. I asked him if he was still going to take me, and he said no. He told me he needed to get a haircut for a presentation he has tomorrow. As the rubric says, he should be well-groomed. For context, I think his hair already looks fine, but he said he doesn't like it. Luckily, I had a backup plan and asked another friend to take me, but I was still really upset. I told him that I wanted him there and was hurt that he backed out at the last minute. He told me it wasn't his obligation to take me and pointed out that I had other people who could step in, so I shouldn't be mad. I feel conflicted. I get that it's not technically his obligation, but I also feel like, as my boyfriend, he should want to prioritize something as important as a medical procedure over a haircut. At the same time, I understand his perspective that he needs to feel confident and professional for his presentation. We were talking about it when I was dropping him off to classes, and he said I was being dramatic, so I kicked him out of my car. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for expecting not to have to pay for Thanksgiving groceries? I have never posted here before, so my apologies if I make any mistakes. I have been invited by a friend who I will call Anne to come to her house for Thanksgiving. We all live in Italy, but spent many years in the USA and have several American friends in the area. Anne heard that I make a traditional Thanksgiving dinner at my house every year for my family and a couple friends, 6 people total. It is quite difficult to get all of the supplies here, so I make every single thing from scratch. Over the years, I've also acquired all the dishes and tools and spices, no suppliers for the more exotic things, and am an all-around good cook. So Anne, who was born in China but lived in the USA for 20 plus years, asked if I would come to her beautiful and much bigger home and teach her how to make the whole dinner. For a group of 12 people instead of the usual 6, I was hesitant at first because we live a very modest lifestyle, and Anne and her British husband are very well off, but I figured it would still be fun, and I would enjoy putting on the feast for new people and in a beautiful kitchen. After I agreed, the problems began. First, Anne wanted to have the dinner on a day that isn't Thanksgiving to make it more convenient. I decided it wasn't all that important since we live in Italy, so it is scheduled for the Sunday prior to the actual day. Then when we were planning to meet to go shopping for all the ingredients, she asked if I could do all the shopping and she would reimburse me for her half. I asked what she meant and she said that I'd be paying for half of everything. So not only would I be doing all the shopping, all the planning, all the cooking and teaching her as well, but now I'm expected to pay for the food? I told her I could not do this and we really don't have the budget. So now she's trying to alter the menu she agreed to. Turkey and fixings, candied yams, roasted veggies, an appetizer and pie. Really a modest dinner by American standards. She then made a comment that her friends don't eat like pigs. She then went to another guest with my recipes and asked her to prepare my pumpkin pie so she didn't have to buy the ingredients. Bear in mind, Anne and her husband are very wealthy. I'd estimate the whole dinner for 12 might cost $200 for the ingredients, and my labor Anne gets for free. She thinks I'm being stubborn and ungenerous. My family thinks Anne is taking advantage of my kindness and her miserly ways are ridiculous, since she'd spend double that amount for lunch out on a whim. So am I the asshole for refusing to contribute to the meal or be bullied into this nonsense? My family wants me to just bow out and tell her I'm not comfortable with her attitude. I'm tempted because this feels toxic and manipulative.